Welcome back to Yeah, I Remember Your Ass, the podcast that proves that classroom just isn't about learning equations or studying analyzing Shakespeare. It's about connections, growth, and sometimes surviving the unexpected. I'm your host, Dallas Brown Jr. Now the shades, they're for my flow. The glasses, they're for my show. This is episode 2, where we will continue to explore the reflections and stories of my students have shared with me over the past 17 years. Today's theme is, I can pick the ones that's going to get their ass kicked before the year is over. And I can tell you why they stand out, their quirks, their teaching style, or their learning styles, and how they leave an imprint that lasts long after graduation. I'll be diving into some notes today from students who shared their unfiltered thoughts about what made the classroom tick, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. These aren't just reflections on me as a teacher, they're insights into the unique magic and occasional madness of education itself. So I told you today's episode was about, I can pick the student who's going to get their ass kicked before the semester's over or the year is over. Well, I'm going to read a letter by a student who did that ass kicking this year, one of those years that I was there. Now, she didn't write much because she never had a whole lot to say, but she carried an extremely big stick. She said, Mr. Brown, this class was boring and pointless. And if I see the word debit or credit one more time, I shall hurt someone. That's all she wrote. But she was a master ass whooper during her time in high school. I won't drop her name or anything, but she's going to get an opportunity. I'm going to call her to make sure that she sees this episode so that she can respond in kind. And the next student, when I often see this student as well. I really enjoyed this class. It was sort of a free class for me. I love to type, and I learned to type even faster than I usually do. If it was not for you and Mrs. K, I wouldn't have my U.S. history credit and would be back in credits again. I gotta graduate and get the hell out of Laney next year. You had your fake days, and sometimes you had your funny and best days. I had a great time throughout the semester. Thank you for helping me also with my relationship problems. You've been a big help, and God is going to bless you. Love you, Brown. So some of them love me, some of them don't. Now, one of the other things is you often get students who would write things at that moment they were caught where they were. Well, this young lady I'm going to read next is, she was some kind of angry with me at the end of our semester. And you never know why they get mad at you. The craziest thing is after she graduated, I actually helped her get a job. So I guess she doesn't feel this way now. She says in her letter, since you don't like me, I don't like you. And that's all I'm gonna say. And that's it, ho. And she wrote her name and she said, I'll never forgive you. And then I actually helped her to get a job. So obviously she's forgiven me for whatever she felt like I done to her. Maybe I showed a little favoritism. Kids will say, Mr. Brown, you always you have your favorites. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I got 6 kids and I have my favorite in my own kids. So what makes you think I ain't gonna have a favorite in my classroom? The kid who give me the least problems is gonna be the one who is my favorite. So here's another student. I often see her on occasion. she says she had some pluses and minuses in her letter. So now the list of minuses was much longer than her list of positives. So I'll start with the minuses. She says, you get off target a lot. That is 100% true. When the teacher has ADHD, what do the students do? What do the students do? So she said, you should consider to stop all traffic in your class. So if anybody know me, you know, and as my students, you know my class was like McDonald's, billion serve. Students, any given moment in the day, somebody's knocking on the door, somebody's barging in, the deputy resources chasing some kid into my room because the kid felt safe in my room. So I will not stop that kind of trouble, would not stop that. It says use your planning time to actually plan. Stick to your behavior rules, and don't give so many warnings. You shouldn't show favoritism to one student over the other. Now that was her list of negatives for me. She had one positive. She said, you can be a fun teacher. So she says, besides your little dumb baseball game, so I had a baseball review game where we created a baseball game to use our study notes. And most of the kids really enjoyed it. And so some of the kids will say, I hated that game. And they're gonna say it in this here too. So what I would do is and you say it how you want to say it about me. I divided the room into guys and girls. Usually I knew the girls was going to beat the boys because the girls were much more disciplined than the boys. And the boys would just flop. And once they got behind, they no longer wanted to play the game either. And the girls really wanted to beat on them anyway. So this next letter, I'm going to read. These two young ladies were some of my favorite students. They were joined at the hip like Inky and Blinky. If one went to the bathroom, the other had to go too. I'm like, what's in that bathroom? I need to go in there and check it. So I'll read their letters. It says, Mr. Brown, I enjoyed your class. I enjoyed your classes I take. Even though you said you didn't like me anymore, even though you said you were kidding, it still hurts. I told a kid that I didn't like them. It's very much possible. Producer, you can see me saying that to a kid.
You tell us you don't like us every day.
Oh, my producer said I tell them I don't like them. Well, I'm gonna have to start doing some apologizing. It says, not really, but still you don't say that to the only student who made you a birthday card. Wow. Oh yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said I signed up for your class next year. I only put it as an alternate, and I'll probably get it because I never get my first choices. I know deep down inside you love the joy me and Jay bring to you, but you don't have to worry about that next year because she's leaving me all alone. Anyways, I'll be a junior next year, and I'm so excited. You should be excited too. Only 2 more years of me. Then I'll come back every year, once a month to see you because I'm very thoughtful, always. And then she put P.S. I can't tell you her name. This was a Caucasian young lady who wrote this. And so the P.S. you guys will get a kick out of. She says, P.S. my mom says she has to visit you because I told her that you said that I have a black girl name. So, and she really does have a black girl name. I won't say it right here. And here's a little sidekick. She said, I have enjoyed being a part of your class this semester. You always know how to make people laugh and how to have a good time. Even though you would always be on top of me and S about leaving class, you were a great teacher. I have learned a lot of new things with the computer, such as making a correct PowerPoint. I know you will miss me lots next year. I know I will miss you so much. Being a part of your class was a joy, not only because I was able to learn more, but also I felt that if I ever needed to talk or wanted to have me time, I was able to do so. I hope you have a wonderful summer and spend lots of time with your family. I will miss you tons and will make sure to visit whenever I can. You're the best. I will never forget you. love always. Now, those two young ladies were, as I say, they could not be divided amongst one another. If one raised their hand, I think the other one's hand went up. If one went, and it wasn't like they were in the same grade. They met each other in that class, and they became that type with one another. So, and I still occasionally will see one of them, and she tells me she talks to her all the time. One's moved away, so it's a lot of fun. Now, this next young lady, Lord, me and this young lady here went through some stuff. We fussed and we fought. Her mama, I see her mom still now today. This young lady, I am so proud of her. She is doing so well. I see her mom on occasion. I let her mom know I was reading her letter today. So hopefully mom will be looking for this. She says, Brown's class this semester, Lordy, was kind of fun. When he wasn't in a pissy mood. He did have his favorites this semester, like Slim Shady. But, oh well, watching people get put out every day made it better because it either took up half the class or it kept us from working. I guess you can say I actually like Brown, even though he was always yelling at me or sending me to Mr. O'Brien or Miss Smith. But it was all right. We had our ups and downs, and he made me want to throw stuff at him, but I didn't. So yeah, it was fun. Love you. Oh, and I'm definitely gonna make sure that I know Mom's is watching the show today. So, and I'm sure she's already told her baby to watch the show today. Here's another young man. I mean, this is a class act gentleman right here. I still see him now. It's kind of funny. He took my accounting class, and I see him now. He works for his family business, and he's running the business. And I'm so excited when I go by and see him. Says this class is fun, and it was full of characters. I learned a lot about accounting when it came to making and journalizing different charts. All in all, the class was fun and enjoyable. I will miss you. He was an excellent football player also. This next young man, he kind of became one of my kids. I couldn't get rid of him, as you say, but I had to stay on him. I fussed him out when he wasn't doing right, and I praised him when he did the right things. He said, well, Brown, it's been fun. Some days you was cool, some days you acted like a little girl, but it was fun. You gave me some good advice and kept me focused. He's gonna be watching the show today too. He already knows that his letters, as I kind of pull these letters out, I'm kind of reaching back to students that I know that I know those that will pay attention and watch the show, or at least go watch it later. Here's another young lady, wonderful young lady. Says, okay, when I first got in this class, I didn't care about it or anyone in it, especially Mr. Dallas Brown. But I guess he aight right now. I really love how when the class would engage in conversations on other topics, would be brought up, and we would laugh and have fun. I didn't like how sometimes Mr. Brown was very bipolar at times, but I guess I got used to it. Or when he'd be telling us stuff like he knew Harriet Tubman, inventors of the Underground Railroad. She must have thought I was about 400 or 500 years old. But it always makes me happy to come up to the classroom to beat up on I and R. But at the same time, it was always, I guess, everybody got along with one another. This was more of a class where I could be myself and speak out, and I'm really going to miss coming to this class. She sniffled a little bit. This was the greatest class ever. Wonderful young lady. And she could sing. Here's another one. I see this young lady often. She said, "Dear Mr. Brown, this year in this class, it was never a dull moment. You made this class fun so that we can laugh and learn a little bit. You always checked cheer people up when they're mad. Whenever somebody needs someone to talk to, you would listen, even if you wouldn't think it's a smart idea or the right thing to do. You always bring out the positive things in life. Love you. Okay, and here's another young lady. I remember her. Good young lady. She was quiet, so you sometimes tend to the quiet students tend to sometimes ride under the radar, but I make them interject and have some conversation with me. Where we at, David? I have this. Say, dear Mr. Brown, I have enjoyed your class all semester long. I think you are a great teacher, but need to do more work so that students can fully understand. Like what you did with Excel and GSL, making us answer questions and write a summary, that really helped me. You should do some more for access and more hands-on work and class activities. Overall, it was a great class, and you're one of the coolest teachers I've had. I will miss being your student, sincerely. It's some man right here, ooh-wee. Now, as I read this letter, I'm going to respond to his love because he was every bit of all of this. He says, Mr. Brown, there was so much drama in this class, but that's what made our classroom fun and funny. You're a good teacher, and I didn't throw you under the bus. By the way, he's asking someone out today? Wow, I remember your ass. I know who you was talking about. I try to tell other teachers when they're a new teacher and they put a teacher with me, they say, so what would you recommend about the kids? I said, number one rule is don't trust no damn kids. Don't think they're gonna throw your ass under the bus every single time, because the nature of the human being is to CYA, is to cover their own ass first, and that's the first thing students do. They will lie. They will tell you something. You go repeat that to their parent. They already done lied to the parent. Then the parent looking at you like, you lying for this mug? No, I ain't never lying for you. I said, tell the kids, one of my favorite saying was, I'm not gonna lie for you because I ain't gonna lie to you. So we learned a lot with that. Okay, this young lady here, I remember, and so she was my next door neighbor, and I remember her from being a little girl. I watched her grow up right there in my cul-de-sac, and finally, when she came to high school, I had her in my class. She said, Mr. Brown's class was entertaining. I liked it because it was easy too, and I didn't have to do homework. I would always enjoy going to his class for first block, just to get out of Miss Smith's class. I will miss you, but see you around. Interesting. This young man right here, I just saw him and told him I was reading his letter this week on the show, so I'm sure he's watching out there. And I have a name for him. I call him the College of Charleston, because from the day he ever came to high school, that was the first thing he ever told. He said he didn't even tell me his name first. He was like, "You're going to College of Charleston, right?" And he actually ended up going to College of Charleston. I think he graduated, but I see he's back home now. This class has been a great experience for me. Learned many life lessons as well as accounting lessons. I also learned that if me and Mr. Brown get in trouble together, I'm not going to be the first one at the police station. I believe that young ones under me should feel very honored to have you as a teacher. College of Charleston, I really enjoyed you, but he not lying. If I used to tell the kids all the time, if me and you break the law together and I get caught, you caught. I'm gonna tell. I don't know where this honor code or not telling. I'm telling. Mr. Producer, you gonna tell?
Of course.
Okay, Madam Producer, are you gonna tell?
Hell no.
See, Madam Producer standing on business. She gonna be the one. She gonna be the one getting about them 20 years, and all her little homegirls are gonna be still out here on the streets, and they're not even gonna put money on your commissary.
It don't matter if I have to sit. I'm gonna have to sit there and think about my actions.
Wow, ride or
I ain't
die.
going out like that.
I'm going out like that. Okay, all right, let's move on. Oh, here's one of my all-time favorite students. She didn't have a whole lot to say then. I see her occasions funny. I used to go to a business where she worked, and I seen her all the time. She's gone on, but to bigger and better things. She says, overall, Brown, this class was good. I learned a lot of new information that I can use throughout class. I really enjoyed it, but that final was so hard, right? And I think she got a 99 on the final, but it was hard. Okay, now this young man right here, boy, he had some stuff with him. You talk about slick. This young man was 10W40 slick. I ride him a pass to go to the bathroom. I'm looking for him. He down at the McDonald's. Yeah. I get mad at him and send him to another teacher to go do something. You got to go out of here today. You're just too busy. Come to find out, he at the grocery store. So he just felt like he was gonna do what he was gonna do anyway. But he turned out to be a young man. I see him occasionally now. He's doing extremely well. So proud of him. This class was just as I suspected, due to the fact that I had you as a teacher my freshman year. Nice and relaxed, but just enough work to get the job done and preparedness for the final exam. Keep doing what you're doing, Mr. Brown. There is a reason why people love your class. And he did, for sure. Here's another student. They say, yeah, I remember your ass, but I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I don't remember your ass. Mr., and they put my whole government name in here, Mr. Dallas Brown. I like your class a lot. It was one of my favorite classes. I liked how you told a joke every so often so the class wasn't so uptight, but sometimes people didn't do anything, so we just sat there. The only thing I would complain about would have to be that you sometimes just gave us the work and expected us to know how to do it, which I didn't. And neither did a bunch of the other people. But other than that, I love your class, and I love you as a teacher. Wow. Okay, here's another young lady. This is very interesting. I think this young lady is currently a teacher. I'm not sure she's in New Hanover County. I know she was in Wake County at once, but she became my teacher. She said, during the semester, I really enjoyed your class. You're such a nice and caring teacher. Thank you. And she actually became a teacher. She teaches elementary school. Here's another one. This class allowed me to learn new things about a program I frequently use. I was able to use it when working on my graduation project and other assignments. Your charisma and hospitality made this class an enjoyable experience for my senior year. So one of the things a lot of the seniors would do is, if I taught Microsoft Word and PowerPoint during their time, those kids would take my class because I gave them all the opportunity in the world to work on that senior project, which we no longer do the senior project. I think Mr. Producer was in my class when he had a senior project. Mm-hmm. We no longer do the senior project. They no longer do it anymore. I have mixed emotions about the senior project because I thought it puts the kids out to go do something, and then it was a great idea, but I didn't think it forced them to do a major community project. I thought that half of that semester we could have had them work, volunteer work, do a bunch of different things like that, to learn about the career that they are going to choose. Anyway, the senior project is no longer an issue, and the kids are not complaining about it. All right, here's another one. I like this class a lot, even though she was not actually in my class. I still like your class. I will miss you, but I hope you enjoy whatever you're going to do. Love you so much. This young lady would come to my room. Yes, I do remember her as. She was not even in my class. Her friend was in my class. I'd do the attendance and look up, and I realized, like, this damn girl ain't in my class. And kids would come in my room and they would sit and hide in spots. And shit, I'd be halfway through the class before I realized Mr. Producer's in my room and he don't even supposed to be here this block. Shit like that happens. If he felt safe enough to be in there, that I wanted him to be there. And here's another one. Mr. Brown was easily one of my favorite teachers. He was funny, smart, and taught us not only word PowerPoint skills, but life skills and stories. Not to mention how funny him and his class is. Oh, I remember this young man. Wonderful person. Mr. Brown, your class has been good this year. You're a laid-back teacher, and you got me out of ISS a few times. So basically, I gave him a bond to get out of jail. ISS was like school jail. And so I write that bond, you know, I was a bail bondsman in school there, get them out of jail, you know, ISS. And he said, we talk a lot of junk to each other, but you cool. He says, and I still can't beat him. When I ask you to leave, you know I ain't going where I say I'm going most of the time, but you still let me go. So I have a few more that I'm gonna try to transition out of and close out. And so this one of the students sent me one. So every year they have Teacher Appreciation Week. They have Teacher Appreciation Week. So excuse me. So they would have Teacher Appreciation Week throughout the year. And the kids would, in the other classes, write you a letter, and those teachers would put them in your mouth. So this is one of the letters. I have tons of them. Say, Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you for teaching us how to invest, to get rich, and to have fun in life. After reaching the market capital of the company I invest in, I one day plan to own a casino. Even though it's illegal in North Carolina, he says I may own it on non-tribal land. I plan to make a cruise ship that takes you out far enough so that you can gamble. I plan to become the richest person to ever be born in Wilmington, North Carolina. I can actually see this young man doing what he said he gonna do. Wonderful young man. I actually known him since he was a baby. I watched his parents drag him. He went to church with me, so I watched his parents drag him into church. It was very entertaining. But he's a wonderful young man. He's out here working hard right now, trying to figure out how to live up to that dream that he says he had. I got this is funny one here. It says, let little Bill out of the house so that the sun can shine. So the kids would call me Little Bill. I don't know why they would call me Little Bill other than my head. Does my head look like Little Bill head? No. Madam producer shaking her head like, yes. Anyway, so they thought that Little Bill stuff was funny. When they get mad, they would quickly go to, that was their way of calling me a name, you know. But it didn't matter because I had no problem calling them a name, like dumbass, lazy ass, whatever ass. Anyway, so this is gonna be my final one for the day, and we're gonna bring the show to a close. Dear Mr. Brown, this year has definitely had its ups and downs. It was a fairly difficult year, but through it all, you were the one that was always there. You were the one I went to You always know the right thing to say, and the things you say are very powerful and change my state of mind completely. I told you everything out. I told you that. Take everything out on me because you remind me of L. That was one of my former students that happened to be this young lady's boyfriend. And you do so much. I don't know if you see it, but you guys are so strong and have the most willpower and determination to be the best you can be. And you won't sleep until you know that you have helped one person. And that's why I go to you. L clearly isn't around, and I don't really go to my dad, so it's nice to have someone around that acts like a father figure that some people need. You tried your best to understand the best of your capability, and it shows. So thank you. I'm really going to miss being in your class. So you better believe that I will be back once again. Love you. And then the final one says, the student graduate in 2015, I love Mr. Brown. You're my favorite teacher ever. Thanks for everything. So that's it for episode 2 of Yeah, I Remember Your Ass. These stories remind us of the unique bond between teachers and students. The moments that stick with us, the lessons that shape us. Thank you for tuning in and walking this memory lane with me. If you enjoyed these episodes, make sure to subscribe, share, and drop a note or a review. And to my former students, if I've read your note on my podcast, well, trust me, I definitely remember your ass.